Yeah, so we just opened on Monday. We haven't been open here in a long time. Like I said in the last video, you know, we've been open here since 2019 December, and within that time, we've only been open for basically 6 months. So we were open on Monday under the AODA Act, which is basically a disability act here in Ontario. And it's been kind of weird because like we're trying to do what's best for the community because there's so many people, you know, that need the gym a part of their life. But you know, you can't really please everyone. And we were just talking, like we have so many members that have been dealing with, you know, anxiety, depression, all these, you know, things that come along with, I guess, being stripped away from like being able to train in the gym and doing what you love. You know, we've had a lot of members come up to us and thank us and almost be like really emotional about it. But then on the flip side, you know, you have a couple people here and there, and it's funny because a lot of them aren't even members, but like people online are making a big deal and telling us like, shame on you, this is disgusting. And it's just like, I think been a crazy week.
Yeah, I think they're misinformed in a sense that like, they don't understand because it says disability. And I don't mean any offense by this, but like you don't have to be a paraplegic to be able to come work out under the Disability Act. And if you looked up under the Disability Act, it says anxiety, depression, etc. And if you don't have a gym, say like you have an injury and you need to rehab that injury, and we've been in lockdown for how many months, how is that person supposed to mentally feel better of what they got going on or physically rehab that injury? And that's all that is. And you know, I sat with Kathleen and my partner who managed the gym with me, we sat down with the bylaw officer and the person who runs the Disability Act or who enforces the Disability Act, and they, you know, informed us on what we need to do to open. We never reached out to them. They reach out to us because they understand, you know, we are a private facility and we live in the Halton region, and we have Jane McKenna who really cares about businesses, and they're actually reaching out to the community to try and get us to reopen. So it's not like something that we went ahead like other gyms have done, and no offense to them, they're just trying to, you know, pay their bills. But in the same breath, you know, like we listen.
And it's funny because it's not like the gym is just actually open. It's like, you know, let's say at the original site here, we had 600 members. Well, within those 600 members, we only have maybe 150, 170 of those members that actually have doctor's notes. So it's like, people will be like, oh yeah, they're greedy, they're trying to make money. We were actually better off getting the government assistance. It was covering more of our bills. We're at more of a loss now, only having 170 members in here.
Than what the government funding was giving us just to, you know, get by in the meantime. But yeah, that's a good point. We do only have 159 people who came back out of our 500 members that have, or 600 that have doctor's notes, and you know, and that's fine. And those other people that aren't, like, you know, that's fine. They made the choice, or they just like whatever the case may be.
I think there's like a lot of people that are misinformed, and when they see it, they're like, oh, these guys are trying to look for a loophole, and they're just letting in all their members and saying they have doctor's notes. Where it's like, no, we only have a very small percentage of our members actually training, because those are the only ones that have doctor's notes. You'll see the other side today, they're just finishing the brickwork, but it's going to open right there. There'll be gates and totally different vibe over there. You can go right through. So that will be hopefully in the next, I'm saying 2 weeks, but I like to always do better than I say. So hopefully within, you know, less than 2 weeks. But I'm going to say 2 weeks, but maybe a week. For shoulder training, when I was younger, I used to love doing heavy presses, heavy dumbbells, but I ended up getting a tear in my labrum, I think my supraspinatus. I've had to really modify my training, change my training. You know, I tend to stick to more machines for presses now. Always for dumbbells and laterals and stuff like that. I never tend to go too heavy. I focus on getting a good contraction, a good pump in the muscle. I guess similar to the way I sort of train my arms. I always like to start shoulders too with rear delts, and then I'll move on to my pressing movements. It just warms them up, and I feel like it just fills blood in the back of your delts. And then the shoulder presses, I feel, have a little cushion, and it just feels better for me. It's something I've always done. So we will do 4 sets here, supersets. When I'm doing this exercise and doing the rear pec deck, I always want to focus on the negative on rear delts. When I'm using these cables, on the negative, I'm letting it pull my shoulder away from the body and getting a full stretch in the rear delt. As I'm coming, it's like I'm reaching, full stretch, then pull back. So I feel like a lot of people just focus on getting it back and they forget about controlling that negative and feeling the muscle. So you'll see here, I'm very, very aware on the negative, and where I start the movement, it's like it initiates right from that starting position. So it's like right here, I have full tension on the muscle, I'm feeling the stretch, it's opened up, and then I'm driving back. I'm reaching, stretching, and driving back. Reaching, stretch, driving. And as you feel, don't be afraid to just shorten the range. So same thing here, how I was telling you guys, focus on that negative. We've set the tension on this machine because you can manipulate the strength curve. We've set it to the beginning range. So throughout that negative, the most tension is here. So I really want to emphasize, you know, that stretch and exactly where I'm starting to have lots of tension on that muscle. Because right here, the most amount of weight is there. So I'm feeling that stretch, I'm pulling back. Controlled, stretch. And one thing with rear delts too, a lot of people just throw lighter weight on. I'll show you guys. But really, tension's from here to about right there. If we try and go any further past here, it's really only gonna bring in traps and rhomboids. So you don't have to overemphasize this, getting back so far. So you can come to here and there's still tons of tension throughout the movement. And even to shorten the range as you fatigue, don't worry about getting it so far back. Going to superset, you know, because we can't go super heavy on presses, because I was telling you about the shoulder injury, I'll use superset presses. You know, in this case, we're going to use the Atlantis converging shoulder press, and we're going to superset that with the Hammer Strength MTS selectorized. This is actually, both of these are 2 of my favorite shoulder presses. They allow me to sort of keep my elbows in front of the body and push through it, where actually when I injured this shoulder, I was on a machine and doing heavy dumbbell presses, having that shoulder over here almost opened up in a, I guess you'd call it a hyperextended position. And that's how I actually tore the labrum. So now when I do my shoulder presses, I'm conscious of putting my elbow in this position here and pushing through, as opposed to back here. Dangerous. So the cool thing about this machine is, again, adjustability. So we can set it exactly where it suits the size of us, so that we can get under it nice. And like I said, right, my elbows are a little bit in front of me. I'm gonna push right through, up.
Really burns, eh?
Yeah.
Going to that second one?
Yeah, the front
I was like,
delt,
oh, this isn't
front
too
delts
bad.
on that one just burns right
Yeah.
out. It's funny, I see a lot of guys now doing like I watch to see the form now, because I know how I've hurt myself and I've seen other people get injuries. And I just cringe when I see people doing like Smith machine behind the neck presses where your shoulder is so opened up and dangerous position. I think they're good, and you're gonna get good results with doing, you know, presses that way, but it's like a short period of time. Eventually, you're gonna wear the shit out of your shoulders, and then something's gonna happen, and then you're not gonna be able to press anymore.
Yeah.
I think the risk is, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah, not worth it.
If I could go back, I'd change the way I did a lot of my presses. Even when we're doing chest training now, like dumbbell presses or Smith machine presses. You know, traditionally we'd stay very squared up, come down, a lot of tension and stress on that shoulder. Now when I do it, instead of being here, it's here. It's dropped in. The stress is taken off the shoulder, and it's now transferred into the pec. All right, we got rear delts done. We got our presses done. Now we're gonna move on to, I like to do a couple different variations of laterals. I don't do too much front delt work because I feel like with shoulder presses and all our chest training, we're getting a lot of work on the front delt. So now, today we're gonna pick 2 side laterals. I'm gonna start with dumbbells. I'll show you guys how I do them. If you looked at 5 different people's form, I feel like all of them would be different. I feel like everyone has a different sort of path they like to follow. I don't think there's really one right or wrong way. I think there's more optimal ways. I like to do it, I've always done them this way. When I set, I come in the dumbbell in front of me for a full stretch. I almost do like a most muscular here. I set my shoulders in front of me. I lead with my pinkies as I come up. I squeeze, come down, stretch, lots of control. Boom, boom, boom. Sound effects help too. But at any time, I can kind of come up and hold the dumbbells. Lots of control. Cody likes to do his more to the side. He doesn't come in front, he keeps them almost like this. All right, so we got our last exercise here for shoulders. It is going to be my favorite side lateral machine ever created by Atlantis. This one right here, adjustability to adjust your foot placement to find the perfect position for you. It gives you a really, really great contraction. The pathway it travels on. Yeah, it's like, honestly, if you've ever given this one a shot, I'm sure you could agree it's one of the best machines for hitting the side of the delts. All right guys, so that's the shoulder workout today. Those are some of my favorite movements. Hope you guys enjoyed the workout. If you guys have any questions or anything, comment below. I'm gonna be checking all these videos that I put out and getting back to as many questions as possible. So this is Pure Muscle and Fitness, the original location. Some of you guys might have noticed, we moved stuff around. The outlay has changed a little bit. We try to create more space, more room within this gym because we do have the opening of Pure Muscle 2.0 in the next 2 weeks. So we're gonna head over there and show you guys what's going on. So this location here is 12,000 square feet. When we come over here into 2.0, this is 22,000 square feet over here. So this is just one of the entrances from that gym to get into here.